Okay, students, we'll start with this topic called polarization of light. This topic only we will be doing today. Now, you know that in waves chapter, we studied that light is electromagnetic wave. Correct, na? And using this, we understood interference and we understood diffraction. Correct? We can also understand another property called polarization of light. But to understand these two, you just need light to be like a wave. So if light is a wave, you can explain these two. In other words, interference and diffraction is shown by all kinds of waves, whether it is light wave, sound wave, ultrasonic wave, earthquake waves, radio waves, it doesn't matter. Okay, as long as it is waves, they will show interference and diffraction. But polarization of light is shown only by, this is very important for CET exams also, if they include this topic. The polarization of light is shown only by transverse wave. Okay, so the first thing you need to remember is polarization of light is shown only by transverse waves. Why? We will understand. Now, we know that light is what kind of wave? Transverse or longitudinal? In light, the oscillations are perpendicular to the direction of propagation or parallel. That is the first thing you should know. Quickly tell me, unless you tell me, I should.
Transverse wave, sir.
Transverse wave. So, what is the meaning of transverse wave? If waves are traveling in this direction, if this is the direction of propagation. So, if I speak, for example, right now when I'm speaking to you, the waves are propagating in this direction, right? In this direction, in this direction, in this direction. So from one point to another point, if you assume this is the direction of propagation. So if this is the direction in which the wave is propagating, then if the oscillations occur parallel to this, then we call this longitudinal wave. Example of longitudinal wave is sound wave. Okay, but light is a transverse wave, remember. Light is a transverse wave. So since it is a transverse wave, what it means is, if this is the direction of propagation, I will be using DOP for direction of propagation. If this is the direction of propagation, the oscillations, by the way, what is oscillating in light? Particles or electric field and magnetic field?
Electric and magnetic field.
Electric field and magnetic field. So if this is the direction of propagation, then in light, electric field will oscillate this way. Okay, perpendicular to the direction of propagation. If electric field is here, magnetic field will be here. However, when we study polarization of light, we will consider only the oscillations of electric field. Okay, and the reason for that is when light interacts with matter, it is the electric field component which exerts much more force than magnetic field. That is why we usually think about how electric field is making the charges in the matter, how it is affecting, how electric field is affecting the charges in the material when light hits the material. So we usually worry about only electric field. In EM waves chapter, if you remember, I have given this relation. E by B equal to C, right? So you can see C is a number which is much larger than 1. 3 into 10 to the power 8. That means the magnitude of electric field is much larger. That is why we consider only the oscillations of electric field while discussing polarization of light. But always remember, if I say electric field is here, magnetic field will be here. Okay. Now, so since light is a transverse wave, the oscillations of electric field occurs perpendicular to the direction of propagation. So if this is the direction of propagation of light, so imagine you have on your torchlight like this. So light will propagate like this. Now electric field oscillates in what direction? I told perpendicular to this because it is a transverse wave. Now tell me how many directions are there perpendicular to this line? How many directions are there perpendicular to this line? Message me or you can unmute and answer.
Infinite.
Infinite. Many students will think 2. Why they will think 2? I will tell you. They will think if this is x-axis, then you know y-axis is perpendicular, z-axis is perpendicular. Correct? No, they will think y-axis is perpendicular, z-axis is perpendicular. So they will think there are 2 directions perpendicular to this. Actually, students, there are infinite directions perpendicular to this. Which are they? See, this one. This one is not perpendicular.
It is.
See, all these directions, not this one, okay, not this one. This is not perpendicular. All these are perpendicular to directions of direction. It is all these are perpendicular to direction of propagation. In other words, if light is propagating in this direction, electric field can oscillate, I am saying, it can oscillate in any direction perpendicular to the direction of propagation. So it can be here, 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 but it should be confined. Confined matlab restricted. The electric field oscillations are restricted to a plane perpendicular to direction of propagation. So if light is propagating in this direction, you draw one plane perpendicular to this. Electric field can oscillate here, it can oscillate here, it can oscillate here, anywhere, but on this plane. Okay. Now, if these oscillations of electric field keeps changing randomly with time, okay, so if the direction of oscillation of electric field, if the direction of oscillation of electric field keeps changing randomly with time, that means if this is the direction in which light is going, sometimes electric field is here, sometimes it is here, sometimes it is here, sometimes it is here. So the tip of the electric field keeps changing orientation randomly. Then let me slightly bend. Then the light is called unpolarized light. Unpolarized light. Okay, just understand. Okay, definitions you don't have to remember because it is not there in board exam. So it is called unpolarized. So what do you mean by unpolarized light? Electric field oscillates in random directions which keeps changing with time, but all the oscillations are perpendicular to this. So that you have to remember. You can take this point, you can take any point. I have chosen this point. You can choose any other point. Natural light, light from sun, light from bulb, light from candles are all unpolarized because nature has no reason to restrict the oscillations of electric field. Why should nature say that you should oscillate only here or you should oscillate only here? You know from second law of thermodynamics, that nature likes order or disorder.
Disorder.
Disorder, right? Entropy concept you guys have learned in physics also, in chemistry also. So nature has no reason to tell that no, you should oscillate only here. So natural light, let me mention that, very important. Natural light from sun, for example, is unpolarized. Okay. Now, though this is the way I have represented unpolarized light, it is quite difficult to draw this all the time. So we have found a nice way to represent unpolarized light. So let me talk about that. So imagine if light is going this way, direction of propagation, what I told, electric field can oscillate in any direction but perpendicular to this direction. So it will be in this plane. Okay. Let us say this is coming towards you. Imagine light is not going this side, but it's coming towards you. Dot. So this is your DOP. So light is coming towards you. Then this plane, which is right now, light is here, light is going this way, the plane is like this. If light comes towards you, the plane will be like this, right? So now I can draw this plane, which is perpendicular to the direction of propagation, and electric field at this point can oscillate in any direction perpendicular to the DOP. Matlab, it can be anywhere in this plane. By the way, don't get confused. Huh? How come electric field is here also, here also? Then where is magnetic field? Are Baba, I'm drawing all these electric fields at different times. Of course, the changes are very fast. So right now it is here, then it is here, then it is here. So when electric field is here, magnetic field will be here. When electric field is here, magnetic field will be here. So they will keep changing directions. So this way I can show unpolarized light. Now, there is a more easier way than this also. If this is the plane, this is which plane? Perpendicular to DOP. So if this is the plane perpendicular to light, direction of propagation of light, then instead of showing so many directions, I can only show you these two directions. That is enough. Mathematically, this is enough. Why, sir, this is enough? Because this electric field is this one. This electric field is this one. What about this electric field? This I can resolve into two components. Yes or no? One component here, one component here, one component here. Understood? No. So any electric field here, I can resolve into two components. So basically, this representation can be further simplified and we can use this representation for unpolarized light. So electric field can be either here or it can be here. Dot represents the direction of propagation. So now finally, I want to show you in the board, light is going this way. So now in this diagram, light is coming towards you, remember. So if I make this direction here, this way, like this one, then see what will happen. This electric field will be here itself. Agree or not? This electric field will be here only, right? I hope you guys are understanding. These are the two electric fields in unpolarized light. Light is coming this way. in this diagram. Actually, many are there, but I have taken components here and here. So I can show only these two components. So in unpolarized light, you have electric field going this way. You have electric field going this way. And this is the direction of propagation. Now, if this direction of propagation I show here, then see what happens. This will be here only, and this one will become like this or not? Yes or no, tell me? This electric field.
Yes, sir.
So that one we will write dot. So in textbooks, this is how you will see people represent unpolarized light. So this is the direction in which light is propagating, and this electric field and this dot represents the oscillations of electric field. So this is the one they show in textbooks and all, but to understand this, no, I have to come this way. Otherwise, you guys will not understand. Just make a note quickly. So remember, in unpolarized light, this is the actual representation, or you can say this is the actual. This is the actual. Please unmute yourself if your audio is on. This is the actual representation, or this is your actual representation. Okay, but by using the concept of vectors, we can use, instead of using this, we can use this, and then this can be used here. So this is the best way. But remember, these oscillations keep changing with time. All these oscillations are there. Now, somehow, if you can remove one of the component, somehow, how I will tell you, if you can remove one of the component, then there will be electric field oscillating in only one direction. That kind of light is called plane polarized light, or sometimes simply polarized light. So plane polarized light means you have removed one of the component of electric field. So if this is the direction in which light propagates, then the oscillations of electric field is either only here or if this is the direction of propagation, the oscillations of electric field is only here. Okay, dots means electric field is oscillating this way. So this kind of light is called polarized light, or specifically I should call it plane polarized light. It's a very small topic, okay? Very soon it will be over. Now the next question is, sir, how do we make this one into this? How do we convert unpolarized light into polarized light? Naturally also it happens. In some cases I will explain today, but artificially also we can do. So first let us learn artificially how to do. So converting UPL, unpolarized light, into plane polarized light. So how do we do that? You can buy a device called Polaroid. Anyone has heard about Polaroid? Those camera lovers and all, you may have heard. Photography lovers, photography enthusiastic people, they have heard about Polaroid. So Polaroid, yeah, similar to Nicol prisms. Okay. So a Polaroid is basically a sheet of some material, which has certain directions, in them. How these directions are coming, I will explain later today itself. But first you try to understand there are certain directions or certain axes, okay, in this sheet. And these axes are called pass axis. And this axis behave in such a way, this Polaroid behaves in such a way that if you take a Polaroid, let me draw only one, same one, all are parallel. So if you take a Polaroid, for which this is the pass axis, okay, then if you shine unpolarized light here, unpolarized light, how do you represent? This way, right? Dots also, arrows also. That means in this light, electric field oscillates this way also, this way also, this way. All oscillations are there, all oscillations, but perpendicular to the direction of propagation. But we don't have to show all the oscillations. We can show two components. This one, arrow and dot. So this pass axis, as the name will tell you, is such that when this light will pass through this Polaroid, oscillations which are parallel to the pass axis, oscillations of electric field, okay, in light, particles do not oscillate. First you remember that. Light can travel in vacuum also. Light is just form of energy. So light can travel in vacuum also. So these oscillations of electric field which are parallel to pass axis, they will come out. Oscillations which are parallel to pass axis, they will come out, and those which are perpendicular, they will be absorbed. They will be absorbed. They will not come out. So this is how we convert unpolarized light into polarized light. Now, I know you are dying to think how, but sir, agree or not? Are you thinking how exactly? Or you are happy?
How, sir?
How, sir? So this how, sir, actually is not there even for entrance syllabus, but still I will try to explain to you guys. These Polaroids is made up of certain materials which have needle-like molecules, needle shaped. So those in chemistry you may have studied, no, those polymers. See, carbon, hydrogen, those long chains. So these Polaroids actually contains molecules which are needle shaped. So if the orientation is not parallel like this, what they will do? They will stretch. They will apply stress. They will stretch and they will make all these molecules parallel to each other. Understood? So this is the sheet in which there are these needle-shaped molecules. Now, electric field in here, there will be like this electric field, it will be like this electric field, right? This is the dot which I am showing this way. Now, when this light comes and falls on this Polaroid, look carefully. The electrons in these molecules will respond to this electric field, right? Electrons have charge. So when you apply electric field, they will feel a force. If you consider the negative sign, then minus, right? So this is one component of electric field. This is one component. Now look carefully. When this light falls on this sheet, those electric field which are parallel to this length of the molecules, the electrons will see this electric field and say, okay, you are parallel to my dimension, so I can absorb you. I can absorb you means I can take energy from you and oscillate according to you. First of all, try to understand. If there is electric field, charges will feel force. That you know from first chapter. If there is electric field, charges will feel force. If the electric field is oscillating, the force will be also oscillating. So when this electric field, this component, this dot, when that comes, when that reaches the material, the electrons in these molecules can respond to this electric field, right? Because it is parallel to the dimension. So they can oscillate this way, this way. But this electric field will try to make the electrons oscillate this way. But these electrons, because of the way the shape is, the electrons here will not be able to absorb this electric field. Because in the molecules, the dimension is such that there is no space for them to oscillate this way. So basically what I'm saying is, if this is the molecule, if electric field comes like this, electrons here can absorb the electric field and oscillate this way. But if electric field comes this way, that electric field will try to make the electrons oscillate. But electrons will say, sorry, we don't have space only to oscillate this way. Are you understanding? So those electric field will not be absorbed. Understood? So in other words, if the molecules are aligned this way, then this will be your pass axis. So electric fields which are perpendicular to the length of the molecules or parallel to the pass axis, those electric field will come out because they will not be able to oscillate these electrons. So electrons will not respond to this electric field. Therefore, that electric field will come out. However, students, for entrance exams, you don't have to know this part. You just have to remember this. That is why I gave the name pass axis. Did you get some feeling of this now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. They use molecules like, ionodione, some cunene sulfide, some I forgot the name. Very complex molecules it was. Okay, so come back to this. Now you can, where will you get this kind of sheets? You don't have to actually go to market and buy. If you take your old calculator and you break it and you take the screen, in the screen, if with your nails, you try to do like this. One film will come out. That film is nothing but Polaroid. Now what you can do with that Polaroid? See here, so many things you can do. So I hope this part is clear, okay? So to make students remember, what I tell them is this. Imagine there is a door and the door is like this. So if I take Kirti is quite old. Kirti has become little fat nowadays. So no problem. So suppose I take Sanjay. Suppose I take Sanjay and I make him oscillate like this. He will come out, right? He will come out. But if I take Sanjay like this, perpendicular to this window, to the length of the window like this, then he will be stopped. So that way you can try to remember. So again and again I am saying, if you shine unpolarized light to a Polaroid, what you get is a polarized light. And that light will have only one oscillations of electric field. And this is called the pass axis. Now let us talk about intensity. If this light has intensity I, this light, can you guess? Just guess, no? Guess. One component is absorbed.
I/4.
Why 4? Energy. Scalar. I/2, no? Correct? Everybody.
That amplitude square, no, sir, like that I thought.
No, the amplitude square itself will be half. Okay. Amplitude will become 1 by √2. Intensity will be I/2. Because energy is scalar, right? So half of the energy is absorbed, half of the energy is going out. Assuming extra absorption is not there. Extra absorption I am not assuming. So half of the light is absorbed, half of the light comes up. So if this has intensity I, if unpolarized light has intensity I while passing through a Polaroid, the transmitted light will have intensity I by 2. This is called half rule. So half rule is used when unpolarized light passes through a Polaroid. Now, suppose I take another Polaroid and I keep it here, and the pass axis is parallel to these oscillations. Then if this light has intensity I by 2, how much this light will have? This is parallel to this oscillation.
I by 2 itself.
I by 2 itself. Who answered? Who answered? Name also you tell.
Sir, Tanuj, sir.
Anuj. It will be I by 2 only because this is parallel to this, so everything will come out. Everything will come out. Okay. So please remember that. Or if I say this is I naught, this will be I naught. I wrote I by 2 because I started from here, right? So when polarized light falls on a Polaroid in such a way that the oscillations of electric field is parallel to pass axis, then it will come out. Full light will come out. But what if this is my oscillations of electric field and I keep the pass axis this way? This way, matlab when this reach, it is 90 degree. So now the pass axis is kept 90 degree with these oscillations, direction of these oscillations. Then how much light will come out?
0.
So it will be completely dark. It will be completely dark. This is what you can play. This game you can play with Polaroid. So try this, guys. Okay. Take that film, cut into 2 parts so that you have 2 Polaroid. Then search tube light or bulb something. Natural light is coming. So do this experiment. I will tell you. It's very interesting. So imagine light is coming towards you. Light is coming towards you. DOP. Okay. Now you have your Polaroid, and let us assume your Polaroid pass axis is represented by this. So when you keep the Polaroid, let's say this mobile is the Polaroid. So when I keep it like this, remember one half will always come out. If the pass axis is like this, then this one will come out. If pass axis is like, suppose you rotate this one. If this is the pass axis, if you rotate this one, then this will come out. Even if you don't rotate, suppose you rotate not by 90, suppose you rotate like this, then this will come out. Because, hey, you should remember, actually all oscillations are there. All oscillations are there actually. To make the language simple, I have taken 2 components. But who told we can take components only like this? We can take components like this also. Agree or not, Samyar? We can take components like this also.
Yes, sir.
So if I keep, so in other words, when unpolarized light passes through a Polaroid and you rotate the Polaroid, there will be no change in the brightness because half will always come out. So very important note. When unpolarized light passes through Polaroid and as we rotate the Polaroid, there will be no change in the intensity of transmitted light. Because whether your Polaroid is here or here or here or here, half of that will always come out. So when unpolarized light passes through Polaroid, and as we rotate the Polaroid, about which axis? About the axis of DOP. So if this is DOP, you have to rotate about DOP. So you have to rotate the Polaroid this way. Don't rotate this way. It is stupidity. Okay. Rotate this way. Then you will see there will be no effect in the transmitted light, the brightness of transmitted light. Now, whatever light is coming out from this Polaroid, you have two Polaroid, I told, no, cut into two pieces. So one Polaroid you keep like this. So now let's say this way your light is coming out. This is the oscillation. So now when your Polaroid is kept this way with your pass axis here, full light will come out. So this part will look bright. When you see with your eyes, it will look bright. Then when you rotate like this and reach here, what it will appear? Here.
Nothing, dark.
Dark. So that you can play with it. Okay, you can take two Polaroid, keep one Polaroid fixed and rotate one Polaroid. As you rotate the other Polaroid, you will see the brightness will keep changing. Whenever the pass axis is parallel for these two, full light will come out. Perpendicular, no light will come out. Full light will come out. Again, I can't do like that. So again, perpendicular, no light will come out. Okay, so remember that. Now the next question, which is going to talk about a law, Malus law. There are only two laws in this. Okay, Malus law. One is Malus law, one is Brewster's law. So what Malus law says is, imagine this is polarized light, DOP. This is the electric field amplitude. E naught is the amplitude of electric field. Amplitude of incident light. You can write A also, but since we know now that electric field is the one which oscillates, we can use E. So E naught is the amplitude of incident light. Now what I do, I take the Polaroid and I don't keep it parallel. If I keep the axis parallel, I know everything will come out. If I keep the axis perpendicular, nothing will come out. So let me keep the pass axis at some angle, theta. Okay, so this is the pass axis of some Polaroid. Then what will happen? Then you have to take components now. So this E naught, you take one component here, or this E naught, you take one component. And for this E naught, you take another component here. And similarly, you can do for this also. So this is adjacent. So this is E naught cos theta. And this is E naught sin theta. As you can observe very carefully, which component is parallel to pass axis? E naught cos theta. So amplitude of transmitted light. So the light which is transmitted, you can't take components of intensity. Intensity is scalar. You can take components of electric field because it is vector. So if you take components of amplitude of electric field, you see that this component is parallel to pass axis. So that will come out. So in other words, electric field which was going like this, after passing through this pass axis, it will become like this. So it will rotate. It is going like this. Then after passing through this axis, it will become like this. Okay, so like this will become like this. So you may have seen this in chemistry. Dextro-rotatory, Levio-rotatory. Have you heard?
Yes, sir.
Water, sugar solution like that. Okay. dextro-rotatory, labio-rotatory, something like that. So the amplitude of transmitted light will be E, let me say, that will be clearly E naught cos theta. Right? So you can clearly see if theta is 0, matlab if the axis is parallel to the oscillations of electric field in incident light, E and E naught will be same. Matlab transmitted will be same as incident. But if theta is 90, then transmitted will be 0. Okay. Since you want intensity, let me square both sides. So if you square, you will get E square equal to E naught square cos square theta. Now you know, as Samyak just told, square of amplitude is intensity. So this is amplitude of transmitted light. So square of that will be intensity of transmitted light. This is amplitude of incident light. So square of that will be intensity of incident light into cos square theta. As you know, the square is very important because you don't want intensity to be negative. You don't want brightness to be less than dark. How can brightness be less than dark? Okay. So please remember, you can't have negative brightness. So this square is important. So this law is called Malus law. Again and again, I'm telling you, use this. I think I'm telling first time. Use this law only when polarized light passes through a Polaroid. Polarized light. If unpolarized light passes, then why will you use Malus law? You will use half rule. If unpolarized light passes, then you know half will come out. But when polarized light will pass through Polaroid, this much will be the intensity of transmitted light in terms of incident intensity. Done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is Malus law. Very simple law, nothing extraordinary is there. By the way, I have planned your revision of first PU from next extra class. So I will share the planning. We will start with second volume first PU, because first volume many of you Carmel students also told they are comfortable. AAC students also first volume you are little bit comfortable. So second volume, because we did not get time to do it in AAC also, especially for NEET section, I will share in NEET group also. If they attend, attend. If they don't attend, that is their wish. I'll tell you one guy, students. Yes, today morning, no, I got a call from one of the parent. She is a mother of one of my very long student. So she told long back student, ex-student, okay, 2-3 years back. Then she told that one of the her brother, cousin brother, daughter is there, and she saw my video in photoelectric effect, because my student has shared with her, because she is not understanding nicely. She is studying in Canada, and she understood photoelectric effect first time it seems, and she is studying second PU properly. So she told that she wants tuition from me. So her mother was requesting like anything. Then I told, ma'am, I don't have time only. Then she told, no, we will include her friends also and increase your what they call it, fees. Then I told, no, ma'am, it's not about fees. I'm not free because I'm taking extra class for you guys. So I don't know whether you guys are understanding what I'm trying to say. Okay, people are ready to spend money and take classes. You people are getting free. Of course, I'm not saying free. You have already paid fees and all. But these classes, though, I'm taking by my wish. No, when Praveen sir is taking extra class, we are taking from our wish. We worry about your future, how you will perform. So when we take extra classes, at least those students who are serious about entrance exams, they should attend. Okay, fine. So, but if possible, I will take class for her also, because I want to see what those people do. Okay, what Canada people do. Anyways, so Malus law, I hope all of you understood. The intensity of transmitted light is I naught cos square theta, and I naught is intensity of incident. Remember, incident polarized light. Polarized light. Okay, this law is used only when polarized light comes, and theta is angle between path axis and oscillations of electric field E naught. Okay, so these things you should know. Now, there is another way you can get polarized light without buying a Polaroid. By the way, Polaroids are very much used in sunglasses. So, not the sunglasses which you get in the road with 50 rupees like that. Those sunglasses which are very costly. So, they will have this Polaroids. Okay, so when there is too much brightness in the surrounding space, too much brightness, when the light will fall, half of that will be absorbed and half will come inside. So, people will feel less glare. So this is to reduce glare. It is very useful when you walk in snow. You must have seen those people walking in the snow. They'll be using those big goggles. Okay, so they have Polaroids, and this is the direction of the path axis. Okay. Now there is another law called Brewster's law. This is the second law. So what this law says is, when light is reflected from a transparent medium, this is N1, this is N2, let's say, then some light will be, suppose this is rarer, this is denser, so some light will be refracted and some light will be reflected. It was found by Brewster that when this light and this light are perpendicular, that time this reflected light is polarized. Matlab, if unpolarized light, if unpolarized light is incident on a transparent medium, which could be glass, water, etc., then when the light is reflected in such a way that this light and this light are perpendicular, then this light is completely polarized. And the oscillations are perpendicular to the plane of incidence. So this is the plane of incidence, right? The plane containing incident ray, normal, is called plane of incidence. So the light here will have oscillations only in one direction. Not here. This is not necessary. And the reason for that is very simple. If you look carefully here, when this light is perpendicular to this light, this electric field will be parallel here. So this electric field cannot stay here, because that electric field will be parallel to your direction of propagation. But electric field is transverse wave. oscillations must be perpendicular to the direction of propagation. So the arrow component cannot stay here when this is perpendicular to this. Again, details, you don't worry so much, students. Just remember this. And that special angle of incidence, at which this happens, that angle is obviously called Brewster's angle. Why I wrote same here? Law of reflection. Angle I is equal to angle of reflection. This is not same. This is angle R. So theta B is called Brewster's angle. So when the angle of incidence is equal to Brewster's angle, the reflected light is polarized. And if you look carefully, the oscillations are perpendicular to the plane of incidence, matlab parallel to this surface. Yes or no? This is this surface, this boundary. If I do like that, you may think it is mirror. Okay. So this surface will be like this, no? So this electric field is parallel to this surface, this electric. And that is why in Polaroid, we keep the axis this way. So that when you wear it, it is like this, right? Like this axis. Now, when light hits the snow, the reflected light at this angle will be polarized this way. So that light will be absorbed. Understood, students? The reflected light from the snow will be having oscillations parallel to the surface. So this is the ground, this is the snow. So oscillations of electric field will be like this. So your Polaroid will have axes which are vertical, so that when they hit, they will be absorbed. So that way, reflected light will not reach your eyes, which means your glare will be reduced. Got the concept? Just tell me yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Even while driving, when there is rain, solpa rain is there, and it little bit night, and these people are putting their headlights on the surface. The light will of course go like this, but some of the light will hit the ground also. So that silvery road, because there is water, that will reflect, and as it reflects, the oscillations will be parallel to the surface if it is at this angle, and that oscillations, if you are using Polaroid sunglasses, will be blocked, which is a good thing, because of that reflected light, no, there will be too much glare in your eyes. Now we want to find a relation between this Brewster's angle. Sometimes it is called polarizing angle. And when we call it polarizing angle, that time we write the symbol theta p. They are same. We want to find a relation between this and refractive index. Simple. Let's use Snell's law. So N1 sine I is equal to N2 sine R. Right? Okay. Now look at this whole angle, this total angle. R plus 90 plus theta B is equal to how much? R plus 90 plus theta B. This whole angle is how much?
180.
180. This whole angle is 180. Right? So R, no need to draw this. It will make the diagram dirty. So theta B plus 90 plus R. That will be 180. So from here R will be 90 minus theta B. Substitute here. So N1 sine theta B will be N2 sine R. R is 90 minus theta B. 90 minus theta B is cos theta B. So if you bring cos theta B down, you will get tan theta b is equal to n2 by n1. Now, usually it will be like this. In most most cases, it will be like this. This will be n, this will be 1, because light will come from air. So in such cases, if they want you to find tan of theta b, we just write n, because n2 is n, n1 is 1. Okay. So if this medium is air, then n1 will be 1. Then you can write this. So this law is called, or this law is called Brewster's law. Remember, it relates the angle at which the light is, at which the reflected light is polarized. So that angle with refractive index. Now, tell me quickly, do you think Brewster's angle depends on the color of the light? Which color is coming? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, because refractive index depends on color from Cauchy's relation. So since refractive index depends on color, Brewster's also depends on color. Forget about derivation. Simple formula, try to memorize. I have done the derivation so that you guys will remember. Okay. Similarly, try to remember this polarization by reflection we have studied. That is called polarization by reflection, Brewster's law. You also have polarization by scattering. So imagine there is a molecule of air or some dust particle and light is falling like this, unpolarized light. So it will have all directions. If I resolve into two components, I can show one here, one here. Now this light, this molecule will absorb this light and then re-emit in all directions. That phenomenon is called scattering. Now light which is scattered here, 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 I don't care. But light which is scattered here, here also I don't care, here also I don't care. These are all scattered light. But this light, these two directions are special because this is perpendicular to this light, incident ray. So in this direction, this arrow cannot stay because this arrow will be parallel to this. So in this direction or in this direction, your light will be polarized. Okay, so if you can find sun, and let's say sun is somewhere here, so light is coming this way. So if you are perpendicular to that direction, perpendicular to this direction, light is coming this way, it is hitting the molecules, it is scattering the light into your eyes. If you are perpendicular to this direction, in any direction in this, perpendicular can be here also, no? Perpendicular can be here also. So if you are in this direction, you will see this light is polarized. Now, when I say you will see, I don't mean that your eyes can detect. Your eyes will not detect polarized or unpolarized. It will just, it will detect like in both the cases. It will not be able to distinguish. Your eyes cannot distinguish. So what you have to do? Remember I told that calculator, take a Polaroid. And if you rotate and you find change in intensity, then the light falling is polarized. If you rotate and you find no change in intensity, then the light is unpolarized. So when light is scattered, the scattered light perpendicular to incident ray, that is polarized. That is polarized. It is told bees can distinguish between polarized light and unpolarized light. So since they can distinguish, they take a note of this difference, and from there they find where the sun is, and from there they detect the direction, east, west, north, south. Okay, so these find direction using polarization of light. How exactly, students, I'm not very sure about that. Okay, we have to study the physiology of bee eyes and all, so that I have not done, but I know this. Okay, so you guys, if you are interested, after exams are over, you can do some research. Humans cannot differentiate, okay, between polarized light and unpolarized light, but bees can detect, and that is how they know the direction. It seems is what many scientists believe. Okay, now the last point. The last point is, remember, we have written from formula for electric field. Like this formula we have written, right? And since I put a vector, this should be vector. Now, when you see this equation, when you see x here, it means the wave is propagating, DOP is along x-axis. When you see minus here, it means the wave is traveling along positive x-axis. Okay, so this x means it is traveling along x-axis. Okay, if I write y here, it means the wave is traveling along y-axis. So if this is your x-axis, that means your wave is traveling in this direction. Okay, so this is your y and this is your z. Now, in some cases, it is possible that the magnetic electric field, this vector, is here. It is possible. But in general, this is not the only direction. In general, your electric field can be anywhere on this plane. Okay, so electric field is in YZ plane. Of course, if they say magnetic field is along Z axis, then yes, electric field has to be along Y axis. But if they don't tell you where is magnetic field, then electric field can be anywhere in this plane. Now you know that this vector, which is in YZ plane, can be broken into two components, one here, one here. And those two components you can see are mutually perpendicular. I should not use the word mutually, they are perpendicular. Okay, so this gives you a very interesting idea that you can use two oscillations of electric field, one which is having oscillations this way and one having this way, and then you can combine them to get this light, light which has electric field this way. So let me repeat. You can write from vector summation, you can write this one in general as E0, E1 and E2. E1 and E2 is wrong, E1 plus E2. So you can consider this electric field as superposition of this electric field along Y. I have taken this electric field along Z. So this is a very useful concept that you can use one polarized light. This is polarized light. If you see only this along y-axis and this polarized light along z-axis, perpendicular to each other, and you can make them superimpose. You can mix them, and then you can create light with any electric field in any direction. Okay, so keep a note of that, because last point I want to talk about something very interesting. So that one I will be discussing in one of the question, the last part which I was explaining here. Okay, so don't worry. So let's start our numerical MCQs. Where is it? Yeah. First question. what is the name of the file? Name of the file is polarization for JEE mains, but it is also very useful for NEET. So the first question, an unpolarized beam of light, unpolarized. So it will have like this also, like this also, like this also, like this also. Has intensity I naught, and it passes through two linear polarizers. Polarizers matlab Polaroid. It passes through two linear polarizers. Polaroids are also called polarizers because they polarize light. So since they polarize light, we call them polarizers also. So an unpolarized light of intensity I naught passes through two linear polarizers, making an angle of 30 degrees. So one is like this, let's say, and the other is like this, 30 degrees. The emergent beam will have what intensity? Okay, let's start. If this is I naught, what will be the intensity here?
I naught by 2.
I naught by 2.
I naught by 2.
Correct. Because half will come out. No, this parallel one will come out. Parallel one will come out parallel to pass axis. Okay, all this is pass axis. Let me not write again and again. So this one will come out. This one will be stopped. This one will be stopped. Now here, this one, because this axis and this axis are 30 degree with respect to each other, it means after the light comes out from here, the oscillations of electric field will always be parallel to pass axis. So after coming out, here it will fall at what angle? 30 degree. So light here will be whatever is the incident cos square 30. Using which law? Malus law. Right? I told you already, when electric field falls at angle theta with respect to pass axis, the emergent light will have intensity incident light. Don't take this one because Malus law is used when polarized light falls on a Polaroid. So this is your polarized light. So when that light falls on this, after coming out, it will become like this, but remember. So it's very beautiful. Light going like, when I say light going like this, don't think light is going like this. Light is going like this. Okay, the oscillations which your eyes cannot see. But if you have charge, you can feel it. Stay in that light, you will oscillate according to electric field if you have charge. But then you people are quite heavy, so the electric field will not be able to move you. But if it is electrons, they will oscillate. Okay. So this electric field is going like this. Once it hits this pass axis, 30 degree, it will become like this, parallel to this. So always remember, whenever light comes out from Polaroid, its electric field will always be parallel to pass axis. Okay. So this will be I naught by 2 cos 30 is root 3 by 2. Root 3 square is 3. 2 is 4. So 3 I naught by 8. This came in kVpy. Sudipta, you are writing kVpy. If you are still there. 3 I naught by 8. Option C is the right answer. Okay, she's not there. She had told her. Okay, finish it.
Done, sir.
So very simple problem, nothing is there. Just make use of Malus law. Now if you are thinking, sir, how can we draw diagram like this? Then what you do is do like this. Draw one Polaroid like this, draw one Polaroid like this. Draw one Polaroid like this. Draw one like this. And imagine light is coming out like this. Out. So when it passes through the first one, it will become like this. Only this will come out. And after passing through this one, it will become like this. Okay, and the light coming out will have intensity this. Let's see the second question. When sunlight is incident on water surface at angle 53, 53 should be slightly down, no? 53, the reflected ray is found to be polarized. Oh, that means this is Brewster's angle. If this light is polarized, this is always Brewster's angle. And that time, you know, refracted ray will always be perpendicular to incident ray. Keep a note. So the first thing they are asking is angle of refraction and refractive index. Refractive index of water. Okay, so this is water. Here they did not mention, so I will assume air. So let us calculate refractive index of water using Brewster's law. So tan of theta b is nothing but refractive index of denser medium with respect to rarer medium. So tan of 53. 53 is a very nice angle, no? So if this is 53, opposite is 4, adjacent is 3. This is 37. So tan 53 will be 4 by 3. So refractive index will be 4 by 3, which is option D. So option D is correct. They also want you to find angle of refraction. That is simple because this is 53 means this is also 53. Law of reflection. Reflection. 53 plus 90 plus R should be 180. So R should be 90 minus 53. That should be 37. So R is 37. So option which one is also correct? A is also correct. This one is not from KVPY. This one is from my side. 50. The question number 3. This Kirti has put this. Kirti, I put this last. No. Okay, no problem. So this one I will do at the last. Okay. Because this one needs the concept that two polarized light oscillating in perpendicular directions superimpose, mix. Then what happens? So depending on that, question number 3 we have to do. Question number 4 we can start. Done this one? Shravani, are you there? Okay. So I'm happy that at least one girl from Carmel has come. Any student from Carmel besides Shravani? One more girl told she wants to attend. Amina, she told me, I remember. Okay, only Shravani is there. Huh? No problem. Okay. Like you don't have too many Einstein and too many Newton and too many Madame Curie, right? Or too many Elon Musk or too many great people. So out of 100 students, 20 students are there, I think. Yeah, 18 are there. So that is enough. Question number 4. Okay, see what it says. Two beams A and B of plane polarized light with mutually perpendicular plane of polarization. Mutually perpendicular plane of polarization means one is polarized like this, one is polarized like this. So both of them are polarized, but one has oscillation like this, one has oscillation perpendicular, are seen through a Polaroid. So this is a Polaroid. Right now, let me not draw the pass axis because I'm not very clear, because I have not finished the question. But one thing I know, one has oscillations like this and one has oscillations like this. Now don't draw in the same diagram. If you do in the same diagram, you may consider it to be unpolarized. Correct now? Whereas they told two beams of plane polarized. So this is beam A, beam B. Now, from the position when beam A has maximum intensity and beam B has zero intensity, from this position, matlab when the intensity from here is maximum and intensity from here is zero, that means the axis must be parallel to this. Then only this light will be maximum intensity, because this light will come out because it is parallel. This light will be absorbed because it is perpendicular, right? So from this position they are saying a rotation of 30 degree, a rotation of 30 degree makes the two beams equally bright. So once you rotate this by 30 degree, the two beams are equally bright here. If the initial intensities are IA and IB, then what is the ratio IA and IB, they are asking. So you can see with this oscillation, what angle it makes, pass axis, after you rotate the pass axis by, this is the initial position, okay, initial position. So this is the initial position of pass axis. How I know initially it was like this? Because they told this intensity was maximum and this intensity was zero when it comes out. So it must be perpendicular to this but parallel to this. From here 30 degree rotation. So this is the position now. This is the position of the pass axis now. Present position of pass axis. So this light has electric field which makes 30 degree. So intensity of this transmitted, let me write T, transmitted, that will be equal to incident, because it is polarized light, I can use Malus law, cos square 30. And this electric field, which is dot means like this. So this will make how much? This will make what angle with this? If this makes 30 degree. Not sure. So look here. One oscillation is like this, one oscillation is like this. Let me show separately, okay? Initially, your pass axis was like this, parallel to this. Then you have rotated by 30 degree with this. So if this one makes 30 degree with this one makes what angle?
60.
60 degree. You should be able to say from here also. See in diagram, here I cannot show you rotation this way. It is not rotation this way, okay? It is rotation that way. That way, okay? So this rotation is that you mentioned. This rotation is, it's not visible. This rotation is into the boat. Into the boat. You write this so that when you revise, no, you will understand. So the rotation is into the boat. So if this one makes 30 degree with this one will make 60 degree, because this is like this, right? Actually, in this diagram. So that will make 60 degree. So this oscillation will make 60 degree. Okay. So intensity of B transmitted will be incident intensity cos square 60. Now it was given in the question a rotation of 30 degree makes the two light equally bright. That means intensity of light A transmitted is equal to intensity of light B transmitted. So if you substitute, you will get IA cos square 30, 3 by 4, cos square 60, 1 by 4. IB 1 by 4. So they asked the initial ratio. Initially, what was the ratio? IA by IB from here will be equal to 1 by 3. So that is the answer. So 1 by 3 means option D. So this electric field, when it reaches here, it will make 60 degree with this. This is not from KVPY, okay? KVPY questions, if you see, all are very easy. All the KVPY questions past 6 years I've included. But my questions which I have put, those are more little bit, you have to think. KVPY questions are directly related to Malus law. So answer is option D. Question number 5, we can immediately do once we do question number 2. Sorry, question number 3. So that one we will keep for the last, maybe next class. So we will do question number 6. Keep the understanding till now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If doubt come, please unmute and ask. Okay. Question number 6 is interesting, simple. A mixture of plain polarized light and unpolarized light is made to fall normally on a polarizing sheet. So imagine this is your polarizing sheet. This is the pass axis. Pass axis. Two beams are allowed to fall. Okay, separately you have to draw. This is polarized, so it will have only one direction. And this pass axis can be anywhere right now, so let me not draw this because I have to read the question further to decide where is the pass axis. But this is unpolarized. This is polarized. This is unpolarized. So this will have oscillations in all directions, okay? But confined in this plane. Confined in the plane perpendicular to DPR. Okay. Now they are saying when the sheet is rotated about the direction of incident beam, the transmitted intensity, the light which comes out, varies by a factor of 4. Varies by a factor of 4 is not mentioned very clearly, but what it means basically is I max transmitted divided by I mean is 4. So this they should give more carefully, otherwise students will, they will ask for this grace mark we should get. So the transmitted light as it is rotated like this, as this axis is rotated like this, Okay, as it rotates, the light which comes out has a variation of factor 4. Matlab Imax by Imin, not Imax minus Imin. Some guys will think minus also, so that you have to understand. 4 cannot be given minus because minus will have unit. If it is minus, no, then that 4 will have some unit. Yes or no? This has unit, this has unit. So this 4 should have unit. By they said factor of 4. Factor matlab ratio. Okay, what they're asking. First question is, find the ratio of intensities of IP and I naught respectively of polarized and unpolarized components in incident beam. So IP they are using for polarized. So this is for polarized, this is for unpolarized. So they want ratio of this and this. Okay, so let's start. Now, when will you get maximum? Let us see. This light, no matter what angle you rotate, no matter what angle the path axis is, no matter which axis, from here, always half will come out. Agree or not? Always half will come out because this is unpolarized. From here, maximum will come out when this is parallel to this, like I have shown right now in the diagram. So in the diagram, if you see, my path axis is parallel to this oscillation. So that time it will be IP, right? So that time maximum will be IP plus I naught by 2. Now, when will be minimum? Minimum will be when this is rotated and it is 90 degree with this. When it is 90 degree with this light will come out or will not come out. When the path axis is 90 degree with this oscillation,
Will not come out.
will not come out. So from here you will get darkness, but from here half will still come out. So I minimum will be 0 plus I naught by 2, which is I naught by 2. Okay, now this they have given. So use this. IP plus I naught by 2 divided by I naught by 2 is equal to 4. Simplify, you can find the ratio. Simplify. You simplify, what will you get?
3:2.
IP by I naught will be 3:2. So please solve this. Okay, just cross multiply, then bring the like terms together and simplify. You will get IP by I naught as option C. So simple question again. So as you rotate this will always contribute half because this is unpolarized. It has all directions. So whether you are here or here or here or here, half will always come out. But from here, maximum will come out when the path axis is parallel. So half full will come out. And when it is perpendicular, none will come out from here. So the resultant intensity will be maximum, value will be this, minimum will be this. Then they gave this. So use this and find the ratio. So this is the question number 6, first part. There are 2 questions in question number 6. Solutions are there actually because I could not remove the solutions. It took a lot of time. So we have a Polaroid. Here we have polarized light, IP. Here we have unpolarized light. Okay, now the next one says, if the axis of the polarizing sheet is fixed at an angle 45 degree with the direction of transmitted intensity, no, they should say with the direction when the transmitted intensity is maximum. Okay, now tell me, when was the transmitted intensity maximum? When the path axis was like this, right? When the path axis was parallel to this, that time the transmitted intensity was maximum. Now they are saying, if the axis of the sheet, polarizing sheet, which is polarized, is fixed at an angle 45 degrees. So this is rotated by 45 degrees. So this is the path axis. Okay, this is the original position. This is the original position. This is the present position. Then find the total intensity of transmitted beam in terms of I naught. I naught was whose intensity? I naught was this intensity. So now let us see what will be the transmitted intensity. From here, no matter at which angle you keep, half will come out. I naught by 2. Now from here, because this will make what angle? 45 degree with path axis, right? So from here, because of this light, how much will come out? IP cos square 45. Right? Malus law. For this we have used Malus law. And for this we have used half rule. Half rule is used when unpolarized light passes through Polaroid. Malus law is used when polarized light passes through a Polaroid with some angle. So transmitted intensity will be I naught by 2 plus IP by cos square 45 is also 2. Now I think already we have found they want the answer in terms of I naught. Already in the previous question we have found IP by I naught is equal to 3 by 2. So IP is 3 by 2 I naught. Substitute here. So this will be I naught by 2 plus, if you substitute this, will be 3 by 4 I naught. Samyak, tell the answer. 4 LCM.
5 I naught by 4.
5 I naught by 4. 5 I naught by 4. Option D. Okay, so simple question. No complexity. Simple, very simple. Make a note. This Wednesday half class, I think another 40-50 minutes if I take Wednesday, this will be covered because there are some more questions. Today we cannot cover. Till 7, we'll see how much we can cover. Okay, so I guess you have written. Yeah, question number 6 you see now. Oh no, 6 we have done. 7. 7 is again KVP. Okay. Now KVPY will do some small changes in the normal theory. So here they have done one small change. So you have to be a little careful. A plane polarized light passes through successive polarizers. Successive matlab there are many which are rotated by 30 degrees with respect to each other in the clockwise direction. So if one Polaroid is like this, the next one is kept 30 degrees with this one. Next one is kept 30 degrees with this one. Next one is kept 30 degrees with this one. Like that, they have put successive polarizers which are 30 degrees with each other and clockwise in the same sense. Okay. Neglecting absorption. Oh no, they have not done any change. Simple. Neglecting absorption by the polarizers, and given that the first polarizer axis is parallel to plane of polarization of incident light. So first light, the light falling is plane polarized. The light falling is plane polarized. So it will have only one axis. And the first polarizer has axis parallel to the plane of polarization of incident. This is a plane, no? So this is a plane, this is a plane. So this plane and this plane are parallel. The intensity of light at the exit of fifth polarizer, fifth. Okay, so the first one is this, second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one. I will not draw this circle also every day. So there are 5 Polaroids. Now this is polarized, not unpolarized, polarized. So this intensity they have given nothing. So this is I naught, let's say. Here how much will be there? I naught cos square 30. Because after light comes out from here, it will be I naught only. Because the first Polaroid, according to question, the first Polaroid has axis parallel to the oscillation of electric field. So everything will come out. Oh, no, this will be I naught only. Sorry. This will be I naught. Because everything will come out. If it was unpolarized, then you have to write I naught by 2. If it was unpolarized. But in the question, they told polarized. Here, this one makes 30 degree with this. So this will be I naught cos square 30. Right? Then again, the light coming out from here will be parallel to this path axis I told. And that electric field again makes 30 degree because all of them are kept 30 degree, 30 degree, 30 degree, 30 degree, 30 degree like that. So light coming here will be this light. This is your incident, again cos square 30, which means I naught cos square 30 whole square. So here will be again square of this. So it will be I naught cos square 30 square of this will be power 4. Then finally light from here will be this intensity power 4 power square. If you square this, it will become or not. We should not square I naught. We are not squaring I naught, no. So it is incident cos square 30. This will become cos square cos power 4. Then that one,
next one it should be cos power 6, no sir.
Which one?
For fourth one it should be cos power 6, sir.
6, huh?
It should be cos power 6, no sir.
Power 4 square, na?
Sir, not like that I am asking, sir.
Intensity. Oh, sorry. It's not like that. So sorry. This is the one which is falling, right? So I have to put cos square 30, right? Right, Kirti? So it will be I naught cos power 630. And the last one will be this cos square 30. So it will be 8. Now is it okay, Kirti?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is the answer. So basically, see, here I naught falls. Parallel means I naught will come out. Then after heating this one, because it is at 30 degree, you have to use Malus law. What does Malus law say? Incident intensity cos square 30 will come out. Now this also makes 30 degree with this. So this is the incident. Then cos square 30. This will be this. Then this is the incident here. Okay, this is the incident here. So coming out will be this incident cos square 30. Then this is incident here. Then coming out will be this cos square 30 will be 6, 2, so will be 8. So final intensity from the fifth Polaroid, will be equal to this. I naught cos 830. This will be cos 30 is root 3 by 2 power 8. So you are allowed to use calculator, but still you can, this is kVpy. So 81 by 256. Huh? Okay. Thanks, Sanjay. Thanks for rescuing me. My calculations are very weak. Okay. 81 by 256. So this, if you divide, what percentage it will come?
31.6025.
31 percentage.
Yes, sir.
None of that is matching. 17.5 I thought. Check once, Samyak, once more, divide properly.
I use calculator, sir.
Okay. Then you have to go for 30. Oh, they are saying closest to. So closest to matlab 30%. So this will be 30% of incident intensity. Okay, last question we will do for today. These people know they are disturbing like this. So keep using Malus law. Okay, this is incident here. So incident cos square 30. This is incident here. So incident cos square 30. This is incident here. So here will be incident cos square 30. This is incident here. So incident cos square 30. Sanjay, after a long time, I'm seeing you in my class. What happened? Today mood came, huh? Today you feel like little bit physics we will do, huh?
Unmute him, sir.
Unmute, no, Sanjay? Not like that, sir. Huh? Unmute and talk. Tell me. After a long time, I'm seeing you. I mean, listening to you. Okay, last question. Question number 8. A beam of plain polarized light. Plain polarized light matlab only one oscillation of electric field is incident normally on a polarizer of area they have given 3 into 10 power minus 4 meter square, which rotates about the axis of the ray. So this is the axis, it rotates like this, okay, which rotates like this with angular velocity 10 pi radian per second. The power of incident ray, power is 10 power minus 3 watt. If I write spelling, no, you will come to know it is power. The first question in this is, find the intensity of emergent beam. Now look here, this continuously rotates, So what will we do? This has some intensity, assume I naught. Okay, the one that comes out. Depending on what angle this axis makes, depending on what the pass axis, depending on the angle made by this axis with this electric field, depending on that angle, the transmitted will be incident cos square 30. Don't use half rule because this is incident, this is polarized. Half rule is used for unpolarized. Now, why 30 I wrote? 30 I wrote because of the last problem. Now look here. This theta changes continuously in this problem. Agree or not? Because it keeps rotating. So if it keeps rotating, this theta keeps on changing. So in that case, when they ask you the intensity, they are asking you the average intensity. So the average intensity, this is constant. Now tell me, what is the average of cos square?
Half.
Half. And why I took average? Since theta takes all values as the polarizer rotates. So as the polarizer rotates, the theta keeps changing. So it takes all values. So I cannot write 0. I cannot write maximum also. So I have to take average. So this much will be the intensity of transmitted light. Now, since they want value, they have given power, they have given area. Intensity of incident light. Intensity matlab what? Energy by area into time. That is the definition of intensity. So it is power by area. Power by area. Correct? No? Huh. So incident power they have given 10 power minus 3. Divide by area of this 3 into 10 power minus 4 into half. Okay, I have used this definition. That will come how much? Plus 4, 10 to 5 by 3. 5 by 3. Unit will be what? Watt per meter square. So which is the right option? Option B. Later when you see the questions, you will come to know option B is the right answer. So as it rotates, omega was useless here. So as it rotates, theta takes all values. So we cannot directly tell this will be the intensity. We can only find the average intensity of the light, because light will come out whenever it is parallel. But whenever it is perpendicular, it will not come out. So it will be the average of 0 when it doesn't come out, and maximum when it comes out. So average of this will be directly this also you can write I naught by 2. Okay. Second part, last part for today's class. And this question came in JEE Mains, the second part. The question is, find the energy of light passing through the polarizer per revolution. So they want energy, not intensity, energy of transmitted light transmitted light per revolution. Okay. So what will be this equal to? Revoluting, revolution. Now we know this much intensity comes out. So intensity of transmitted into area will give you the energy per second, because this is what, see the definition, it is energy, but this was energy of incident, this will have energy of transmitted, because this was intensity of incident, this is intensity of transmitted. So this will be what, energy transmitted per unit area per unit time. So multiply with area, that will give you energy per unit time. Multiply with time, that will give you energy. Understood this equation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what is the transmitted intensity? 5/3. Area we already know. Time is what? Per revolution. So in one revolution,
1/5 seconds.
very good. In one revolution, time taken is 2 pi by omega. That is the definition of time period, which is time taken in this problem, because per revolution we took. So it will be 2 pi by 10 pi, 2 by 5. Wait, 1/5 seconds. So 1/5. So 5533, 10 power minus 4 joules. Okay, so that much energy will be transmitted, which is option A. So this question came, but again, please understand, since this came in JEE mains, you doesn't mean you'll start from here, because first you have to find this. So basically what I'm saying, parallel, everything will come out. Perpendicular, nothing will come out, provided this is polarized. If this is polarized, everything will come out. Nothing will come out. Now, if this continuously rotates, it is equivalent to this not rotating and this rotating or not. And for that, we already know half rule, right? So half rule says when unpolarized light, see my hand, see this diagram, I mean this part. So when unpolarized light passes through a polarized, what we say, half comes out. So in the question, actually they told this is polarized and this is rotating. But if you use relative motion, then from this point of view, this is rotating. So you can clearly say half will come out, or you do properly like this. So first find the transmitted intensity. Then you multiply with area and time to find the energy. And time means per revolution, means time taken will be time period, right? Time for one revolution is called time period, and time period is 2 pi by omega. Another 5-6 questions are there. Next class we'll finish it. Chalo, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Wait, don't go. Just wait for some time. I just want to see the names of the students. One student just went now, so I cannot.
Naveen, sir.
Naveen went just now, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So very fast he went. He wrote already everything, huh? Thank you, Chetan, everyone. See, now one thing I'll tell you. Many students are thinking that Pankaj sir will do all these things later. I'm not going to do. Whatever classes I'm taking, these videos are with me, recorded, and I'm not putting in our YouTube channel also. Because this is my classes I'm giving, because some 5-6 students, or now today I can see 16. These people are interested. Otherwise, normally less than 10 students are there. Now, these topics I'm not going to repeat in the regular classes, and these topics, videos also, I will only share when you give me very proper reason. So that is why I'm saying from next class, we are going to do first PU revision for second volume. So I will just give brief synopsis, and like this, we will do some 15-20 good questions. And that should give you confidence to write the final exam. Okay, chalo, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Kaveri, still writing or what? Left.